Welcome students. So, we are in the process of learning about the budgets and budgetary control, and in the previous classes we have discussed in detail that what is budget, and largely we talked about the master budget. We discussed the master budget conceptually, and then we learned that how to prepare the master budget, where we did the say 2 cases in detail, and we try to understand by say preparing the budgets for the 2 companies, where we discussed in detail the concept of the master budget. And I already have told you that it has 2 components, operating budget and the financial budget, and finally we prepared the budgeted income statement and the budgeted balance sheet, right. Now we will move to the next part. I told you in the previous class also that though we have seen it in detail, that the master budget is a very important tool for the management decision making, for the cost control, for improving the performance of the company in all areas, units and subunits, but still it has some limitations. So we have to understand those limitations, we have to highlight those limitations and then try to find out what is the solution for those limitations, right. So the solution to the limitations of the master budget is the flexible budgets and variance analysis, right. So we will be going ahead today with the say a detailed discussion on flexible budgets. So why we need the flexible budgets? Because of the limitations of the master budget. So in the master budget, for example, what we did, say we were preparing the budgets and we were given the sales level. We have already forecasted the level of sales, and if you talk about the value of the sales, sometime we were writing that say for example in the 3 months we have the sales of say 7 lakh rupees or dollars, or maybe 4 lakhs, or maybe something like that. For the different months we were talking about. So these are the 3 months and we are talking about the 7 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 4 lakhs. You can say that in the month of January we are anticipating this, in the month of February we are anticipating this, and in the month of March we are anticipating this much amount of sales. So you can convert that say number of sales into the units also. So for example, here we were planning to manufacture and sell 7,000 units, here it is 4,000 units, and then it is again 4,000 units. So the cost or the selling price of the 1 unit being 100. So we had the total estimation of the sales to the tune of 700,000 in the month of January, 400,000 in the month of February, and 400,000 in the month of March, right. Now then we prepare the budget for all this, starting with the sales here, and then we subtracted all the cost. Means while we were preparing the income statement, budgeted income statement, we took the sales at the top and then we subtracted all the costs, and then we try to find out the operating income, and at the same time we anticipated the level of sales as 7 lakhs worth of rupees or dollars or whatever it is. We then found out that for this much level of production sales we have to go for the production, and then we anticipated in terms of the purchase expenses, then for the operating expenses and all other things, and finally we went up to the finding out the total say requirement of the cash and other things. But now you see the major limitation of this budget, static budget. Master budget is the other name of the master budget is the static budget. So major limitation of this budget is that you are anticipating only one level of production and the performance, only one level of production and performance. That is, sometimes it can prove to be dangerous, that we are anticipating that in the month of January we will sell in the market, our sales, forecasted sales will be how much? 700,000 rupees or dollars. But how it is sure? Because you are talking here which something is going to happen in future. We are only anticipating, we are only planning at this level. Actual performance, will it be actually 7 lakh rupees? It can be 6,50,000 worth of rupees or dollar sales, it can be 7,50,000, it can be 8 lakh rupees of the dollars and sales. So the moment the amount of sale changes, right, your all other estimates will also change. Your cost will also change in the same proportion, because the total cost of the production is into 2 parts. One is the variable cost and second is the fixed cost. So variable cost all the time changes with the level of production and sales. Maybe the fixed cost remains the same, but to a limited level of production. But if for example you had anticipated that our sales in the month of January will be 7 lakh worth of rupees, and the fixed expenses for that will be some amount say X, but actually our sales went up to say increased by 1 lakh rupees more. So maybe it is possible that the fixed expenses are going to remain fixed up to 7.5 lakhs. But if the sales increase beyond that, our fixed expenses will also increase. So, in that case what is happening? You have the budget only for one level of production and the sales may be the overall performance. But here now the actual performance has changed. It can be 6 lakh worth of rupees, it can be 8 lakh worth of rupees. So, there is a plus minus 1 lakh rupees. Now, how would you use this budget or this say budgetary information which we have prepared here for exercising the control? Because control is possible only, analysis of the variance only possible if you plan for 7 lakh and actually is also 7 lakhs. Then you can say that my sales were 7 lakh worth of rupees, actually we have sold for 7 lakh rupees in the market. So, it means at the sales level there is no variance. Now, let us check at the cost of production, is there any variance? Maybe what we anticipated as the cost of production for selling worth rupees 7 lakh, have we been able to achieve that level, or the cost was more than budgeted or cost was less than budgeted? If it was more, why it has increased? If it was less, then why it has come down? So, that variance analysis we will be doing. But for example, if the sales level has become now 8 lakhs and your budget is for 7 lakhs, you are going to compare something that the budget is for lesser level of production and sales and actual performance has gone up by 1 lakh, is a very significant amount. So, how can you compare these figures of the expenses which were expected to be there for the 7 lakh worth of rupees or dollars of the sales? It means if you compare that level, certainly your variances are going to be positive, that you are comparing the cost for 7 lakhs against the performance of 8 lakhs. So, you would say that our anticipated cost for the material was this, actually we have incurred the less cost, so our profit is increased. So, that is not the way of analysis. We have to have multiple level of budgeting. We cannot have only one level of budgeting, master budget or static budget. You cannot be sure 100% that we are planning for a given level of performance and actually also will also be the same level of performance, that is not expected to happen. So, if that performance changes, maybe it goes up, it comes down, or at least it is not the same what we had planned for, what we had budgeted for. If that happens, then what is going to be the say use of the budgets? Because now at that time when the actual performance will come, for example, actually is 8 lakhs or 6 lakhs, you have the budget for 7 lakhs. So, at that time first you have to prepare the budget for the 6 lakhs or the 8 lakhs and then you start the comparing both the performances, what was the budgeted performance at 6 lakhs, what is the actual performance at 6 lakhs, and then is there any kind of the variance or not. So, it means whatever the budgetary exercise you did at the level of 7 lakh units or 7 lakh worth of sales, that is totally useless. Means again you have to prepare the budget, a fresh budget you have to prepare equal to the actual performance. Again you have to backtrack that this is my now the actual performance 8 lakh worth of sales. Now my budget is for 7 lakhs. Now I have to now again prepare the budget for 8 lakhs and then I have to see that for 8 lakh worth of rupees or dollars of the sales, what was the variable cost expected, what was the fixed cost expected, how much actually the fixed and the variable costs have been, and what is the level of profits. So, it means the level of say the budgeting which we did, the detailed budget, you see how complex is the budgeting process. We have seen in case of the static budget, you start with the first schedule, and in this the small cases which we discussed, it was only for 3 months period of time, 1 quarter. The firm was very small, their operations were very small, but you talk about the companies which are multinationals whose operations are spread all over the world or in the different markets. Even if they have to prepare the budgets for their Indian subsidiary or the company which is the subsidiary of that multinational operating in India, and they prepare the budget for a given level of sales, production and performance, and the actual becomes different. So, again preparing the budget for the different level of means equal to the actual performance, how complex it is. So, what we do is we do not keep ourselves limited to the static budget or the master budget, rather we take the help of flexible budgets. So, in case of the flexible budgeting, now we are going to discuss today in detail flexible budgets and the variance analysis, and in this flexible budget and variance analysis, first we will discuss the limitations of the static budget and then we will try to find the answer that how the flexible budgets can do away the limitations of the static budget and Then finally, after conceptually being very clear about the flexible budgets, their uses, advantages and superiority over the static budget, we will go for preparing the flexible budget or learning about the preparation of the flexible budget in detail, and then means a mini case we will do in this case also, and then we will clarify all the doubts that if we have to replace the static budget with the flexible budget, how we will go for the flexible budget and how the flexible budget can be useful in exercising the management control, financial control, operating control, and how it facilitates the means in a better way the overall management decision making, right. So, if you look at this static budget is, it is clearly written here, is really just another name of the master budget. Static means only one level of production which is stable, one level of production 7 lakh worth of sales, 7,000 units, only one level. But actually you are not sure about, and it never becomes sure. Even if you plan for anything doing daily, you are a student, and if you may be planning that today say for the whole day I will be studying for 3 hours, but in the evening you may find out either you have studied for the 4 hours or you have studied for 1 hour. So, it means in our daily planning process at the personal level, if we deviate from the budgeted or the maybe the planned performance in the real form of the business organizations, deviations from the anticipated or the budgeted performances all the times anticipated, you cannot ignore it, and if it happens then the entire budgetary exercise should not become futile. So, for that we will have to go for the flexible budget. Another thing is the master budget is prepared for only one level of a given type of activity. This is the major limitation. I just discussed with you that this is only for the one level of the production, one level of the activity, and when actual is different then it has means hardly any use. All actual results are compared with the original budgeted amounts even if sales volume is less than originally planned. I told you that you planned for 7 lakh and actual performance is 8 lakhs, and if you start comparing the performance of the 8 lakhs worth of the sales with the 7 lakhs of the budget estimates, certainly means the variances are going to be there. Largely it may be possible the variances are positive. So, there is no reason for us to feel happy that we had planned for 7 lakh units, we have performed 8 lakh units, or maybe the 8 lakh worth of rupees or dollars of the sales. So, proportionately now if we go for the expenses, so you can say the sales variance is positive, but the expense variances will become negative because the raw material requirement for the 7 lakh worth of the sales was less, it has gone up at the level of the 8 lakh rupees or dollars worth of sales. So, the variance will be negative, but ultimately we are not going to achieve any objective, it is the only wastage of the resources, time and money. So, major limitation of the static budget, and on the basis of that means whatever the information is available with us, we prepare the performance report, and performance report basically is a generic term that usually means a comparison of the actual results with some budgets. So, that comparison will be feasible only if you have the same level of both the performances, budgeted performances same with actual, actual is with the budgeted, then you can go for that. Yes, I plan to sell for 7 lakh rupees, I sold for 7 lakh rupees. Now, what should have been the cost at the 7 lakh rupees worth of sales, what actually is the cost at the 7 lakh worth of rupees sales, is there any kind of the variance? Because variance is a deviation of an actual amount from the expected or the budgeted amount. It can be both positive or negative. The cost, maybe the raw material cost, we anticipated that for the sales of 7 lakh rupees, we will be say having the raw material cost is say 3 lakh rupees. But actually the raw material cost has come down to 2.5 lakh rupees. So, it is a positive variance. We have to look for that how we have been able to reduce the cost of material at the same level of sales and production by 50,000 rupees. So, we have to anticipate it. Now, there can be two reasons. One thing is that variances can be positive, variances can be negative. When anticipated cost at the 7 lakh dollars or rupees of the sales, the anticipated cost of the raw material was 3 lakh rupees. Actually, we have been able to say buy the raw material or complete the raw material cost only pay or by paying only 2.5 lakhs. It means we have saved 50,000 rupees. Why that now the positive variance of 50,000 has come? There can be two reasons. Either your purchase department is very efficient They have found out the material from some best supplier. It was a good quality material. So, maybe when we have purchased a good quality material, wastages have been reduced seriously and the actual output of per unit of the input has gone up. So, the total requirement of the material has automatically gone down, right. Or another reason could be that actually what we planned at the level of budgeting or at the time of budgeting, we planned for 3 lakh worth of the material, but that was the wrong planning, that was the wrong estimation, and actually the correct estimation should have been 2.5 lakhs. So, if the first thing is there that because of the extra caution, efficiency, care of the purchase department, if the cost has come down, it is a laudable effort and they should be appreciated for that. But if actually the cost would have been 2.5, it was the budget estimates which were wrong, we had anticipated too much high cost, that is by 50,000 extra, then the budgeting team should be fired for that your budgeting estimates are not correct. So, had this cost been not controlled at 2.5, but had it gone up to 3 lakhs, because your budget says like this, then we could have been shelling out 50,000 rupees extra and lowering down our profits. So, because of whom that variance has occurred, it is a favorable variance. Anticipated cost is 3 lakhs, actual cost is 2.5, we have saved 50,000. But do not feel all the times that 50,000 saving is just because of the performance of the production or the purchase department. It may be because of the wrong estimation of the budget estimates. Actual costs should have been estimated as 2.5. Nobody has taken extra care, nobody has performed extra, nobody has found out anything special or done something extra or made any extra efforts. It is just because of the normal operations of the business, but the estimation which was done by the budgeting team was wrong. So, there is no need to appreciate anybody, rather we will have to make the budgeting team aware of that where they have committed the lapse. So, in both ways, if there is a negative variance, for example, now the cost estimated was 3 lakhs, actually the cost of material has become 3.5 lakhs, then it is a negative variance and that needs to be investigated why the cost has increased. That is actually the purpose of budgeting. But if there is a positive variance, there is no need to feel happy that there is a positive variance. So, we should not analyze that variance. In both ways, the variances when they cross a minimum level of the analysis, when they cross a minimum level of analysis, they need to be investigated. Now, what is the minimum level of analysis? Minimum level of analysis of investigating the variances is decided in two parts. How they will decide the analysis level? In case of both positive and negative variances analysis, we decide into two ways. It can be either in the percentage terms or it can be in absolute terms. For example, now what is the percentage term? We say that if our variances are up to 10%, right, or say up to 50,000 in the absolute value, right, we will not analyze these variances, because we all know it that whatever the budget estimates we have prepared, they are expected to vary plus and minus 10%, by plus and minus 10%. Cost of raw material can go up by 10%, cost of raw material can go down by 10%. If that variance is within 10% of the say basic amount or the estimated amount, then there is no need for analyzing the variances, because we have already made the provisions for that. Similarly, in the absolute terms, for example, we decide our threshold level that if the variances are plus minus by 50,000 rupees or dollars, then there is no need to analyze, because it is expected to happen. For example, we had anticipated again the raw material cost as 3 lakhs. Now, actually it becomes 3.5 lakhs or 2.5 lakhs. It is a variance of 50 lakhs plus or minus, positive or negative. No need to analyze this variance, because we knew it that this much of the difference will occur in the budgeted and the actual performances. And another reason for doing that is that because I told you the basic mantra of management accounting, or maybe the entire this discipline of the management accounting is based upon the two things, and these two things are cost and benefit, costs and benefits. So, when you talk about the costs and benefits in every management decision making, we will have to bear this in mind that your benefits always have to be more than the cost, or your benefits always have to outweigh the cost. for any management decision, implementation of any management decision, if the cost is more than the benefits, that is not a good management decision, that is not a good business decision. So, when we have decided this threshold level of 10% or 50,000, after this if the variance is 15%, we will analyze it. If the variance is more than 50,000, we will analyze it in both positive and negative variances cases. We know it. One reason is that it is beyond our level of anticipation of 10% or 50,000, one reason. Second reason is that if you analyze these variances which are more than the 10% or 50,000, the cost of analyzing these variances will be much less as compared to the benefits we are say expecting to derive from this analysis, because variance analysis also has the cost. Your entire budgeting team or the variance analysis team has to sit down. They have to collect the total information. Budgeted is with us, actual we have to find out, means prepare all the statements, then we have to do a detailed analysis in terms of converting into percentages or maybe the absolute values. So, it takes the time of people, and those people are not free, they are expensive people. Say analysis team is the expensive people. So, that entire exercise should be done only if we are expecting that the cost of analyzing the variances is certainly going to be less than as compared to the benefits we are going to have from this analysis. So, for that reason this threshold level is decided, 10% or 50,000 is decided, pre-decided, that if it crosses 10%, then yes, we will analyze it, and if it crosses 50,000 in absolute value, we will analyze it, otherwise we will not go for the analysis of any kind of the variances, right. So, variance is a deviation of an actual amount from the expected or the budgeted amount, and in this case we have to have the multiple level of the budgets, not the one level of budgets, which is the major limitation of the static budget. So, now for example, if you have the static budget only, the variances of the actual results from the master budget are called as static budget variances. Now, for example, how do we calculate them? Look at this. Actual, this is the performance, this is the budgeted performance, and this is the, you call it as the say variance, right. So, for example, you talk about this first one is the sales value, that is 4 lakh rupees. This has become, or the budgeted was 3,80,000. So, now we have the favorable variance of 20,000. We have sold for by 20,000 rupees more, and the second part may be the cost, total cost of the goods sold or goods to be sold was expected to be 3,80,000, but actually the say the cost has come down. So, in this case you can call it as that this is another variance. So, what was the budgeted cost? 3,80,000, actual cost has come down to 3,70,000. So, this is a variance of 10,000, right. So, now we have two levels only, one is the budget, second is actual, right. A budgeted level of the sales of the 3,80,000, your cost was expected to be 3,80,000. So, it means we were expecting business to be at the no profit no loss, but actually what has happened, your actual sales have gone up, cost has come down. So, there is a variance, but it is only possible to analyze that your actual performance is equal to the budgeted performance. So, this is known as the static budget variance or the master budget variances. These are the revenue variances. In this case, because the performance has changed, budgeted was 3,80,000, actual is 4 lakhs. So, you can't say that only sales value has gone up by 20,000 and expenses will not go up by the same amount. It is not going to happen. If the sales are going to increase, cost is also going to increase, but is the cost increasing proportionately? Means what should have been the cost of the production at 3,80,000 of the sales level, and what now the cost has gone up for the 4 lakh rupees of the sales, has it proportionally gone up or there has been something more than or less than the proportions? That analysis is required. So, you have now the cost information for 3,80,000 level of the sales, and actual performance has gone up to 4 lakhs. So, how do you analyze the variances? You have to now convert the total cost of goods sold in the same proportion as there is a change in the value of the sales. So, for that you do not have the budgets, because you have only static budget for one level. So, for that we need the flexible budget. Similarly, you talk about now the expenses. This we are talking here about the expenses part. Master budget variance in case of the expenses. Actual expenses that exceed the budgeted expenses result in unfavorable variances. actual expenses that exceed the budgeted expenses result in unfavorable variances. Now 3,80,000 of the budgeted sales, actual sales have gone up by the 4 lakh by 20,000, so 4 lakhs. So how the cost has increased? Proportionately it has gone up. What was expected at 4 lakh rupees of the sales, the cost of production? Has it gone up in the same proportion, or it has gone up more or less? That is again called as the variance. And if actual expenses that are less than the budgeted expenses result in the favorable expenses or the favorable expense variances. So either way it can be possible, but in both the cases, if it is beyond the threshold level, we will have to analyze those variances. Now to remove all those limitations, as I told you that whatever the limitations of the one level of budgeting and the one level of the sales, if they do not match with each other, that is the limitation of the static budget. How we have to do away is, the answer is the flexible budget. What is a flexible budget? A flexible budget or variable budget is a budget that adjusts for changes in sales volume and other cost drivers activities. Means a budget that adjusts for, automatically that adjusts for changes in the sales volume and the other cost driver activities. So what we do in this case? Because these days you know that we prepare the budgets on systems on the computers. So in the computers, when we prepare the budget for one level of the activity, for example 8 lakh worth of rupee sales. So what we will do there? We will now convert that budget. For example, sales are 8 lakh rupees, or they go up to 9 lakh, or they come down to 7 lakh rupees sales, then how proportionately the cost will change. So we calculate the cost for all three levels, 7, 8 and 9 lakh worth of rupee sales, and then we put the formulas in place in the system in the Excel, and we say that if the sales are 8 lakhs, this is going to be the cost of raw material. If they come down to 7 lakhs, then the percentage of the raw material is this much, so automatically the system should adjust the cost of raw material. If they go up to 9 lakhs, automatically the system should convert that into the 9 lakhs. So what you have to do is, for that you have to do this entire exercise well in advance while preparing the budget, and prepare the proper formulas and put the formulas in place, so that tomorrow whatever the actual level of performance, we have the budgets for that. If you do not have the budget for that, you can within I think a few minutes you can prepare the budget, because you have already put the things in place in the systems. All the formulas are changed. The moment you change the top value of the sales, you are able to change, or automatically the other figures or the other values are changed automatically. You get the budgeted cash flow statement, you get the budgeted income statement, you get the budgeted balance sheet for the changed level of the sales. So that will only happen if you have been already doing this flexible or the variable budgeting exercise, where all the formulas are put in place, everything is there in the system, and that will also we have to do at one point of time. So do not only rely upon the static budget. It is possible to give you the broad estimates, but if you want to have the real management control system, then you have to go for the flexible budgets. What we do in case of the flexible budget formulas means we have to put the formulas in place in the computer. The flexible budget is based on the same assumptions of revenue and the cost behavior within the relevant range as the master budget is. Relevant range means we know that variable cost is proportionally changeable when the sales level change. When the production is 7 lakhs, your variable cost will be this much, because if you require 10 units of raw material to manufacture 1 unit of the finished product. So if you manufacture the 2 units, you require 20 units. If you manufacture 3 units, you require 30 units. So proportionately it is changing. Now you talk about the fixed cost. Fixed cost is a machine. For manufacturing means 10,000 units, there is one machine. There is a maximum capacity of that machine or that plant for manufacturing the 10,000 units. That is the maximum capacity of the plant. Now you manufacture 10,000 units by using that plant, or you manufacture 8,000 units by using that plant, or you manufacture say 9,000 units by using that plant, your fixed cost is going to remain the same. That is whatever the cost we have already incurred to install the plant, and annual depreciation will be calculated accordingly. It is not going to change that if you are going to manufacture the 9,000 units, not 10,000 units, then your fixed cost is going to come down. No, total fixed cost remains the same, per unit changes. If you manufacture 10,000 against the installed capacity of 10,000, your fixed cost is the optimum. But if it is less than 10,000 production and sales, your fixed cost per unit will increase because the total fixed cost will be divided by the less number of units produced. So, that happens in case of the fixed cost. So, fixed cost remains the same at the given level of production, that changes beyond when the production increases beyond, say for example, in this case 10,000 units. But the variable cost means remains same, per unit it remains the same. 1 unit you are manufacturing, 10 units of the raw material are required. 2 units you are manufacturing, 20 units of the raw material are required. 3 units you are manufacturing, 30 units of the raw material are required. So, variable cost changes, but the fixed cost remains the same to a certain level of production. So, it means we can have those assumptions in mind, convert that into the standard formulas, put them into the computers, and we can say that if you manufacture and sell 10,000 units, this much unit of raw materials are required. If you reduce it to 9,000, this much units of raw material are required, and if you reduce it to 6,000, this much units of raw materials are required. So, the moment you change the level of sales and production, or production or say production and sales, automatically the raw material cost is going to change. So, that is called as a flexible budgeting system. The flexible budget incorporates effects on each cost and revenue caused by the changes in the activity. The moment the revenue changes, sales change, cost automatically changes. So, you have put that system in place in the computer. So, that is going to be very, very useful, very, very helpful, and that is not the static budget, but that is called as the variable or the flexible budget. We will practically prepare the practical budget, then you will come to know that how it facilitates better management decision making or the better management control. Now, in this case, when you go for the flexible budgeting system, what you do here is that we again prepare the performance evaluation reports by using the flexible budgets. Comparing the flexible budgets to the actual results accomplishes an important performance evaluation purpose, because you have actual performance 10,000 units, budget is also easily available with us for the 10,000 units, then you make the comparison at 10,000 units of production and sales, how much cost was expected. So, if you do not have, but you have the formula in the system, automatically the moment you change the sales level, you will be able to change the cost performance also, and even the system itself will automatically work out the variances. In the last column, system will say that material cost has a favorable variance or unfavorable variance, labor cost has a favorable or unfavorable variance, or similarly the other cost variances will automatically be calculated. So, within no time that entire variances will be available with us. In the cases where the variances have crossed the minimum threshold level, in that case we will analyze it in detail, but the variances which are within threshold level of 10% or 50,000 for example, then we will not analyze the variances and we will close the report. So, this is something the beginning discussion, just that discussion I have initiated on the flexible budgets and their positive say values, points and properties, and remaining further more discussion with some say you can call it as the exhibits, that how we go for the preparation of the flexible budget, that I will discuss with you in the next class. Thank you very much.